Thank you. Wow, it is such an honor to be up here speaking amongst two absolutely mind-blowing women that I have looked up to for so long. I really appreciate this opportunity, and Jonathan mentioned a few things, and believe me, it's not something that you fall into. It has been a wild ride to becoming a submarine pilot. I mean, I started out as like a very small town farmer's daughter. I was a diesel mechanic, and that translated into working on boats and eventually in submarines. And I feel so blessed every dive. I don't take a single one for granted because it is a privilege to get to do what I do with submarines. What I learned, first and foremost, about the ocean is that it's not blue. It's green, and it's yellow, and it's red, and it's pink, and it's textured, and it's moving, and it's alive. And I would like to take you down in a submarine with me for a moment here. So inside of a submersible, there are sounds, and there are even the smell of other humans. It's a very interesting experience. It's very real. It can be sweaty. You know, you're inside of a very small sphere with each other, and you're looking for something. You're seeking questions. And in this particular case, we were in Miami, and we were looking for a 200-foot-long target that we had seen on sonar. And we were expecting a 200-foot-long shipwreck. But we found was the Gulf Stream had built up a 200-foot-long berm of sand against this tiny little World War II Grumman Hellcat aircraft. This little, tiny little submarine. And because we were working all together in sort of what we think of as an underwater conference room, we were able to make decisions in real time about what to do once we encountered this wreck. It's upside down, the landing gear are in, it's probably a wreck site. And so we decided to put the sonar up and create, Autodesk, you're gonna love this, 3D multi-beam scans to create a 3D rendering of the aircraft so we could then provide it to nautical archaeologists at the local Miami sector, and they could help identify and create the story around what had happened around this wreck. That's just one example of how being involved in the ocean is going to help us tell so many stories about this foreign, terrifying inner space environment. There are only a few subs out there. There's very few. There's a handful of really deep diving submersibles. The Zhaolong is the newest submarine. It's Chinese built, and it goes to 7,000 meters, which is just over half of full ocean depth. There's Alvin, American-built submersible, which is just refit, but in this photo it's capable of 4,500 meters, operated by the US government. There's two subs, the Mir 1 and Mir 2, that are twins. They're operated by the Russian government. There's the Shinkai 6500, which goes to 6,500 meters and is operated by the Japanese government. There's a French submersible called the Nautil, which goes to 4,000 meters. And there's the USS Enterprise, which goes to 40,000 meters and is operated by the Space Federation. There's also a handful of submersibles, thank you, by the way. There's a handful of submersibles that don't go quite so deep, but allow hundreds and hundreds of researchers, like these amazing two women who have both been in submarines and have piloted submarines, to not only immerse themselves in their environment for research and science, but become a part of the environment. A geologist like Leslie Ewing can not only see evidence of currents that she had predicted and geological features, she can become a part of the water movements that are forming them and come back and tell a compelling narrative that helps translate very abstract feeling scientific concepts into something that is compelling and relatable and brings the ocean to life for so many of us. Because the ocean is huge. Everything that we think of as Earth is tiny when you dive down into one of the ocean's cities of stone. So let me take you on a dive. As a matter of fact, there are two people in the audience right now who are actually in that submarine in this photo. And they're sitting at the back there. So imagine yourself off the coast of Miami. The eastern horizon is stretching out in front of you. We know that the Gulf Stream, it's a big body of water, and it moves really fast, and it carries some heat. I don't know, science, blah. But what does the Gulf Stream look like? At the surface, there's sort of this fine band of Sargasso seaweed that lines the edge of the Gulf Stream. And if the water is really rough that day, in a band that's maybe 500 meters to half a mile wide and some breadth, it smooths out because of the movement of water up the Gulf Stream. But what's only hinted at the surface, subsurface, you dive down at this interface, and it rises up above you like a mural, and it's painted in teal and aquamarine, and it looks like Caribbean camouflage. And the water is undulating and moving and mixing, and it looks like heat radiating off of a tarmac. That's what the Gulf Stream looks like. And when you step into it in a submarine, all of a sudden you're shot upstream, and then you come back out of it and you stop. And you go back into it, and you're shot upstream, and you come back out of it, and you stop. It's this huge volume of water, and all of a sudden, you realize how climate change is connected to everything, how much heat is being transported from good old Miami, Florida, to oh God, New York. It's so cold. And that's what science and exploration have come to mean to me. Exploration is the physical evidence that science rules. So I love, thank you. So I love to take these stories and share them with this amazing group of people called children who are just massive receptacles of all of this information. And right now, we have arrived at this era where not only do they listen to the stories of submersibles, but this is the future of technology. There are devices now that are affordable, capable research tools that they can pilot themselves. Not only do they have to listen to other researchers' questions and collect data, listen about collecting data, they can seek their own questions and answers and work together. And there is an untapped market there of young women around the world who either haven't had these opportunities or didn't realize what was available to them. And I've decided that one of my favorite things in the world is building robots with girls. I started working with 13, 14, 15-year-old girls around the United States primarily, and I've taught them the basics of robotics, but what I have figured out is that they teach themselves. All I have to show these girls is that they are currently capable, intelligent engineers, and they don't need me to teach them. They just need me to tell them that they are capable of teaching each other, and they will collaborate. So there's this amazing new thing. It's called the internet. Yeah, and so believe it or not, as a submarine pilot, I spend most of my life underwater. I actually am just coming to understand what the internet can really mean now that I live in San Francisco. This is the hub of this amazing technology. And there's a website that we're creating right now which connects explorers, not just young girls building robots, but explorers flying drones, doing conservation projects, asking questions through hiking and collecting garbage. And they connect with each other. And while their projects may be in the boondocks of Papua New Guinea or high up in the Arctic, the girls involved in these camps, completely without my assistance at all, started connecting with each other through Facebook and through this online platform. And even though their projects were localized, when they began to work together and compare theories and notes and techniques, it will have global impacts in the most amazing way. And I'm so excited about that. I would like to end with just a little bit of appreciation for what is underwater and what we are capable of finding under there, because every single person in this room remembers that time. You remember it. Sitting on the floor in your grandparents' house, and your grandparents were talking about something that they had done as young people, a cave in their backyard, going freediving on a sailboat in a lake. There is something that you have always wanted to explore yourself, but never felt like you had the tools, time, or confidence to go do. And I challenge you to seek those questions and find out what you can contribute to exploration. Thank you.